For centuries, the human mind, it's been this incredible mystery, almost sacred territory.
Mhm.
We've thought about consciousness, argued about what it even is, and just wrestled with this slippery idea of self.
Yeah, the big questions.
But what if I told you that today, that old veil, it isn't just lifting, it's being actively, explored, mapped out even,
Yeah.
influenced by tech.
It's a massive shift, really. We're moving past just thinking about the mind or watching it from the outside.
Right.
We're actually engaging with it now on a level that felt like pure sci-fi,
Yeah.
honestly, until very recently.
Absolutely. So welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging right into biohacking consciousness,
Huh.
emerging neurotech ethics.
And this isn't just theory.
No, not at all. Our deep dive today is really about getting into these huge, sometimes kind of unsettling questions that pop up when advanced tech literally connects with our minds.
It blurs lines we thought were, well, fixed.
Exactly. And it throws up these ethical problems that could fundamentally change what it means to be human.
And the sources we've looked at for this dive, they really show how incredibly far neurotechnology has come, like real-world examples happening now.
Yeah.
But maybe even more important, they lay out the really urgent ethical questions this speed brings up. Everything from identity, mental privacy,
Big stuff.
to issues of control and autonomy. So our mission here is to pull out the most crucial insights on this new frontier, to give you a clear sense of what's really at stake.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because for so long, when we talked about brain-computer interfaces or thought-controlled gadgets, even mind reading,
Yeah.
it felt like something out of a movie.
Totally science fiction, yeah.
But the research we've seen makes it super clear. The veil is lifting.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't some far-off future. It's today's reality. We're not just watching brain activity anymore.
No.
We're actually starting to interact with it, maybe even manipulate it.
And what's fascinating here is how fast these technologies are kind of dissolving that line we used to see between human and machine. The sources really highlight that direct brain interfaces, personalized neurostimulators, these have definitely moved from just ideas or lab tests
Right.
to functioning actual technologies. We're seeing it in clinical trials, early uses right now.
So we're actually talking about real devices people are using, not just concepts. Can you give us a clearer idea? What does that look like?
Precisely. The examples are, frankly, stunning. Think about thought-controlled prosthetics.
Okay.
People who've lost limbs can now move really complex artificial arms or hands just by thinking about it.
Wow.
These devices read signals straight from the motor cortex, basically turning intention into action.
Incredible.
Then you've got memory enhancement tech, stuff designed to boost recall, maybe even help form new memories by stimulating specific circuits in the hippocampus.
Memory itself.
Yeah. And even more startling, maybe, are mood regulation devices, things like deep brain stimulators. They interact with brain regions involved in emotion to help with severe depression or anxiety.
So direct intervention for mood.
Direct intervention. And these aren't just isolated experiments anymore. They're becoming part of medical treatment. It reflects what a lot of researchers call the human drive,
That urge to.
Exactly. Our ancient desire to push past limits, physical or mental, to boost our abilities, and ultimately just to have more control over our own inner world. It's a powerful drive, meeting incredibly powerful tech.
And that naturally leads us straight into the really big questions, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit uncomfortable. If you can significantly augment consciousness, if you can literally rewire bits of your brain, boost your perception, or even kind of edit your emotions, is the person experiencing that still fundamentally, it brings up this huge identity crisis. The philosophical lines around selfhood just get really blurry.
And this raises an important question. What does true selfhood even mean in an age of brain-computer integration?
Right.
When we talk about augmenting consciousness, it's not just, slightly better memory or feeling less down.
It's deeper.
Much deeper. We're talking about tech that could mediate thoughts themselves, that might reshape our values, our beliefs, maybe even our personality over time. Like, imagine a device smooths out all your anxiety, leaves you feeling totally calm all the time. Is that calm really yours? Or is it the device's calm?
That's a really weird thought.
And the implications, they go way beyond just one person. They stretch right into society itself.
How do you mean? What are some of those wider impacts that ping the ethical radar when the individual mind starts looking so malleable?
Well, one critical point that comes up again and again is the very real risk of what some call cognitive divides.
Yeah.
Just picture a world where only the super rich can afford these advanced neural upgrades. It's not just about money then, it's potentially a mind gap.
A mind gap.
Creating this
Yeah.
unprecedented social split based purely on who has access to better brains, essentially. Enhanced cognitive abilities. It could totally rewrite class structures. People who are enhanced would have a built-in advantage in, well, everything. Education, jobs.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then there's the absolutely critical issue of mental privacy.
Right.
This quickly takes on, like, existential weight.
How so?
Well, if corporate neural interfaces are constantly logging your thoughts, your feelings, even your subconscious reactions, who owns that data?
Oh, man.
Your inner world, your most private mental space, it stops being just yours. It becomes a product. It raises data rights questions that are way more intimate, way more profound than working about social media.
That is genuinely chilling. We worry so much about our online data now,
Yeah.
but this is, a whole other level of personal.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the potential dark side, doesn't it? There's sort of looming threat of algorithmic control. Because if we get this direct access, this influence over the mind, what are the unintended side effects? And what happens if that power ends up with, well, the wrong people?
The dangers laid out in the research are pretty stark. They really demand we pay attention. Beyond the enhancements people want, there are significant unintended consequences.
Like what?
We're talking about potentially irreversible personality shifts. Maybe you start using a focus booster device, right? And over time, without you even noticing, your empathy or maybe your creativity starts to fade a bit.
Oh, wow.
Or the risk of addiction to the stimulation itself, people getting dependent on devices just to feel okay emotionally.
Right. Like any other dependency.
And there's also a worry about cognitive dependence,
Yeah.
where the brain might actually, lose its natural ability for certain things if it's constantly offloading them to a chip.
So your brain gets lazy, basically.
In a sense, yeah. These aren't just minor side effects. They could fundamentally change who someone is, often in ways that are hard to predict or undo.
So you could start using something to, say, boost your focus, like you said, and without ever meaning to, your whole personality starts to shift. Your core self gets kind of worn away. That's a terrifying idea, that the tool meant to help you might actually just change you.
Precisely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes clear that this isn't just about individual enhancement. It's about potential societal control on a scale we've never seen.
Societal control.
Yeah, the sources talk about how these technologies could create totally new power structures. If governments, or maybe powerful corporations, get the ability to influence neural activity to subtly nudge emotions or shift cognitive biases, the very basis of free will gets seriously questioned.
Seriously.
In that world, thought regulation becomes the ultimate form of control. We're not talking about influencing people through ads or arguments,
No.
but through direct neural manipulation.
That's genuinely dystopian.
Yeah.
The idea that dissent could be shut down not just with censorship or surveillance,
Yeah.
but by literally tweaking a person's thoughts, their feelings, how they see reality.
And it goes even further. Some of the material describes the chilling possibility of weaponized consciousness.
Weaponized.
Yeah. This could mean targeted neurointerventions used to subtly quiet dissent by, say, dampening critical thinking or making people more compliant.
Oh, my God.
Or, even more alarming, the potential to manipulate whole populations by subtly influencing behavior. Or even implanting false memories.
False memories.
Making it impossible to know what's real versus what's been technologically induced. This creates unprecedented threats to human autonomy. Your core beliefs, your past, your very sense of reality could be messed with without you ever knowing or agreeing to it.
It's profoundly disturbing. It really makes you question what reality even is if your own mind can be hacked or your memories aren't really yours. So, okay. Faced with all these huge ethical issues, what does it all mean for protecting our inner world? This can't just be doom and gloom, right? Surely people are thinking about solutions, about ethical guidelines.
Absolutely. The research does propose several vital safeguards, and it stresses that being proactive is key. First, there's a big emphasis on needing strong ethical frameworks. This means getting international cooperation going to establish what people are starting to call neuro rights.
Neuro rights, like human rights for the brain.
Basically, yeah. Specific legal and ethical protections designed to guard the sanctity of consciousness now that technology can intervene. These rights would need to be seen as fundamental, just like existing human rights, ensuring things like mental privacy, cognitive liberty, and protection from being neurally manipulated.
So new global standards, but specifically for the mind.
Exactly. And that links directly to another key idea, informed autonomy.
Right.
The tricky part, the paradox here, is that real consent means understanding technologies that might fundamentally change your sense of self.
Hmm.
How can you truly give informed consent to something that could change who you are at a basic level, especially if you can't fully grasp the potential scope of that change before it happens?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It demands new approaches to personal agency. We need ways to ensure people genuinely get it and willingly agree to what they're signing up for with these incredibly powerful tools. It's about empowering truly free choices about our inner lives.
That's a deep challenge, though. How do you get truly informed consent when the very thing you use to understand and consent your mind might be what's being altered or enhanced?
It's a challenge that's going to need immense foresight, constant public discussion. And finally, the sources advocate for basically a digital bill of rights, but specifically for mental integrity. This would mean legally protecting people through comprehensive rules that explicitly say consciousness is the final frontier of human privacy. It's about building clear legal fences around our inner lives before they get breached without permission, making sure our minds stay, sovereign territory.
Wow. This deep dive into biohacking consciousness has definitely surfaced some, well, monumental ethical challenges, hasn't it?
It really has.
We've gone from abstract ideas to very real, very current problems about identity, mental privacy, our autonomy.
Indeed. It makes you think of that powerful quote we saw in the material. The question isn't whether we'll alter consciousness, but whether we'll do so with wisdom.
That really hits home?
The hope, the ideal vision, is for neurotech to actually empower human identity, not erode it. Enhancement without exploitation.
And to make that happen, the research really hammers home that researchers, policymakers, and really all of us as citizens, we have to work together proactively. We need to set up ethical guardrails before, not after, the next big breakthroughs hit.
Because the tech is already here.
It's here, and it's moving incredibly fast.
So the conversation really starts with you listening right now. As these technologies keep evolving, how do we as a society make sure that consciousness biohacking actually benefits all of humanity? How do we protect our most fundamental selves and help people flourish instead of creating new divides or chipping away at our free will?
That's the big question we're left with, isn't it?
It is, and it's one that truly needs our collective wisdom and really thoughtful engagement from everyone.